It's Vocalo Radio 91.1 FM, Chicago's urban alternative. I'm your host, Bekoe. The illest coming through your stereo, and as promised, man, we got a dope hour loaded up for you. And that song right there was Running from the homie J. Ivy. Man, love that record. He has an album out as well that done received a Grammy, The Poet Who Sat by the Door. And he is in the building with us today. How are you feeling, my brother?
Hey, man, I'm feeling amazing. Fantastic. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm feeling good. I feel even better that, things is in motion now. You're back. I bumped into you in Ghana.
Yeah.
And now we're back on the homeland, our soil here in Chicago, from the homeland back to Chicago.
From the motherland to the other land.
Yeah, I love it. And we talked about, Grammy talk, and I just played the joint featuring John Legend, and I learned that you actually gave John Legend his name.
Yeah.
So from John Steffens to John, how did you put the two together for John?
So, the story goes, first I was working with Kanye. So I did the record Never Let Me Down with Jay-Z and Kanye. Big shout out to my brother Cootie, who was the one who called and told me, yo, Kanye got this record with him and Jay-Z on it. He wanted to put a poet on it. And I told him he'd put J. Ivy on it. So I wrote, and next thing I know, I'm on a plane. The night that I recorded, we listened to Never Let Me Down over and over and over again. And then Kanye was like, have you heard of this singer named John Stevens? I was like, yeah, I've been hearing about him in New York. And we were in L.A. So he's like, let me play this record. So he plays this record. I'm blown away by it. Hour later, John Stevens walks in the studio. I'm like, oh, what up, bro? I'm J. Ivy. I'm a poet from Chicago. I was surprised. I didn't know he was there. I was like, man, I heard your music. It sounded like that music from the old school. It sounded like that music my folks used to listen to back in the day. I was like, man, dog, you sound like one of the legends. I was like, you a legend. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to call you from now on. I'm going to call you the legend. So I started calling him John the Legend, John Legend. So then a couple days later, when in the lounge of the studio, we were at Record Plant Studio in Hollywood, and in walks John Stevens, who's signed to Kanye as John Stevens. He got an album out as John Stevens. Mm-hmm. This is his birth name. He's been that his whole life. And he walk in, everybody shouting him out, John Stevens in the building, John Stevens in the house. And I was like, John Legend. And everybody looked at me, looked back at me, oh man, that's it. That's your name from now on. So
it sticks.
That's how I got the name, yeah.
Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Because that name has been seen around the world now.
Yeah, it has.
It
has.
Since we're talking about names, so your most recent album called The Poet Who Sat by the Door, and inspired by Sam Greenling's iconic book, The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Yeah. And for folks who don't know, it's about a black CIA officer. He was enlisted by the CIA, and despite overperforming all of his white peers, he got a desk job. He was just a token black guy. And eventually, he resigned from the CIA. And mind you, this book is set in Chicago. Yeah. Goes back to the streets of Chicago and brings them everything he learned there. So from guerrilla tactics to how to collect intelligence. And, as a black poet, also from the south side of Chicago, what was that connection for you in making that your name?
Yeah, well, it was, I'm a huge fan of the book, the film. If people haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Go check it out. Very powerful. Has always been a staple in my movie favorites. Mm-hmm. And when I was doing the work with the Recording Academy and the poetry community to help create a new category strictly for the poets, I was getting information, like in the book, in the movie, I'm getting information from the Recording Academy about the submission process and what qualifies for an album and the eligibility period. And I've been doing my thing for almost 30 years. And I'm like, man, I've been doing this for this long and I didn't know this. Chances are other poets don't know this. So I was getting the information and passing it back to the poets like, yo, if we do this, we could possibly get our own category. And I started cracking this joke. I'm like, man, I'm like the poet who sat by the door. And that's where it started. It was, I found myself kept saying it. And anytime I repeat something enough and I get enough reactions, I'm like, let me do something with that. So it just started. It was just me being reminded of the power of that film and that book. And then, while doing this work, I'm like, yeah, this is it. When I started working on the album, I was like, that's the title. That's the title. Yeah.
I mean, and a huge congratulations is in order because not only did that just win the Grammy, it won a Grammy.
Hey.
Come on now.
Stand up.
It won a Grammy in that brand new category that you helped pioneer. And so, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, man, thank you for that. It was an honor to be, one, just nominated. You know, you create something or help to create it. Because I wrote the proposal, I named the category and all that. Jamila Woods was here on the wall. She helped me with the definition. And we, you know, it was just amazing to be nominated in this historic moment. It's the first time in history that 5 poets were nominated. And there are no promises, no given. So I didn't expect to be nominated. I was hoping, I was praying, I was working hard for it. But I didn't expect to be nominated. And then I didn't expect to win, but I was hoping and praying that it would happen, and we made sure to put in the work. I remember talking to my mama. She was like, boy, what you doing? I was like, oh, I'm in the studio working on my album. She's like, see, you made the category, so if you win, it's almost like it's rigged. I was like, Mom. I was like, I know a lot of people go think like that. I was like, see, I got to create a masterpiece. I was like, it has to be a masterpiece. And we got in the studio and we pulled out the best of the best of the best in ourselves. And when I say ourselves, I'm talking about, of course, me, Tari Teray, Sir the Baptist, and then we started reaching out to folks, Lettucey, Music Soul Child, Dion Cole, Ursula Rucker, Sonny Patterson, Amari Hardwick, The Last Poets, John Legend, Slick Rick,
Crazy lineup.
Verse, you know, Excel, Maurice Brown, PJ Morton, and did I say Sonny Patterson? I think I did, but shout out to her again and Ursula again. And we just wanted to create something special that when people do hit play, it would be no question about this being worthy of that prestigious award.
Now, before we, before we jump into break, shout out to your mama too. She a real.
Oh yeah, she a real. Man, she Southside all day. Come on, man, she a real one.
I gotta know, man. We want to know in general, how has life been since the Grammys? Like, did you have to open up a new phone line? Did you have to open up another bank account? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it definitely changes things. It changes things fast. So it's been 3, almost 4 weeks since that moment. But it's been a dream. It's been a dream, a lot of joy, a lot of opportunities, a lot of moving around, a lot of interviews on the phone, making moves, making deals. So it's been a lot. And then the beauty in it's like we have a tour kicking off at the end of the month with City Winery. So it's bringing me back to what I love to do most, which is be on stage and perform my poetry. So I'm really excited about that. Bringing the band out, bringing Tari Teray out. Chicago, we at City Winery. What is the date? March the 28th. 28th, March 28th, Chi-Town. Need y'all get on citywinery.com and go buy a ticket
right now,
or
not
5. Later. You know, right now, not later. Go get that.
Support my man.
Yeah, we coming to bring it. But it's been man, it's just been a beautiful experience, man. I'm literally in the dream that I've been having for decades. I'm in it, and it's wild to see.
Well, you worked hard for 4 decades.
Yeah.
And, you know, a blessing came your way, and you just blessed others with opportunities under the Poet Society to also win Grammys as well, my brother. And we actually going to jump into a music break.
Life is a marathon, a maze of magic and mystery. On our quest to make our mark on history, we're sometimes troubled by the terrain. It's tough, but the aim remains the same. The mountaintop, the podium, breaking through the tape at the end of the race, in spite of the pain.
And earlier in our conversation, I heard you slightly mention Genius documentary. And you wrote some, you know, you was like the lead writer for the documentary, which is also nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah.
Talk about that, man, because that was a very inspirational documentary. It touched me.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, just seeing the work you, Cootie, everybody did on the documentary was amazing. So can you briefly touch on things for everybody?
Yeah, man. Big shout out to my brothers Cootie and Chike, the directors and producers of Genius, a Kanye trilogy. Cootie, he documented Kanye for over 2 decades. And he called me up one day like, man, we finally go do Genius and want you to be the lead writer. I'm like, man, thank you, let's go. So I ended up writing the narration that's featured in the film. I wrote his narration. And it's a beautiful journey. It's beautiful to see this work of art come to life after seeing footage over the years, after being a part of the moment, being the fly on the wall or being the poet who sat by the door back then, because I was around for the Chicago Renaissance that was happening in the mid to late 90s and early 2000s. And then I was around for, the blast off of Kanye West. I was around in the studio kicking it. Matter of fact, my birthday is tomorrow, March 3rd is my birthday.
Yeah, we know.
And I remember I just flashed back to Kanye DJing my birthday party when I moved to New York. And it was just a beautiful time. So to see this film come to life and for the world to see these stories we've been telling, for the world to finally see these stories is just amazing.
Years in the making.
Years. Been telling these stories 20 years. And it's like the world finally get to see them.
And I don't think the public, I could be wrong, really heard like Kanye's feedback on the documentary. Like, have you spoke with Kanye at all or heard any feedback from him personally?
Yeah, I've heard feedback. I've spoken with him.
What'd he say?
He said some things.
I wish I could see his face.
He said some things.
Real.
Well, was it a green light? With thumbs up, thumbs down?
It was a light.
Listen, he gave you the information.
It was a light. It was a light. Yeah, he came to the premiere and at the premiere in LA, it was Super Bowl weekend last year, and we just premiered part 1 or act 1. And I know he loved that, and it was a beautiful moment at the end of the showing, and he gave a speech. He thanked Cootie, and man, we all prayed, and it was just beautiful. We were actually trying to add that moment to the end of part 3, but everything was already locked in with Netflix, so it was like, the premiere was like 2 weeks before it came out, or the week before it came out, something like that. So it wasn't time for them to change it. But yeah, It
was a light.
It was a light. It was a light. It was a light.
Since we're talking about
light that shines.
We're talking about Kanye, I'd love just to talk about music in general. You've talked about how sort of influential hip hop has been on you, and I know your dad was a DJ on WBON growing up.
Come on now, you know about Jim Richards.
You have a little research.
Come on now.
And I think you use music in a way that's really kind of unique to folks in your craft. I mean, how has, whether it's your father DJing or listening to hip hop growing up, how does that really influence the way that you think about your work?
Yeah, like I love coupling my poetry with music. My father not only was a DJ, but he played the saxophone, and then my uncle Isaac, he was the assistant band director at Mississippi Valley State back in the 80s, and back when Jerry Rice was playing at Mississippi Valley. So music has always been a part. Like, they would even tell me stories about how my father, back in the day, Chicago get the records first, and then he'd get the records and then send them down to his brother down in Mississippi, and he'd write all the music out and then teach it to the band. So music has always been a part of me. It's just naturally there. Like, I hear bass lines all day long. I hear melodies all day long. And when it comes to my poetry, I'm always looking to again couple my poetry with music. I mean, I can rock a cappella all day, but I want to hop in a ride and have the music carry the words further. I feel like it gives it more reach and more depth. So even when I was creating the album, I call it fishing. Like, I just throw out the throw out the ride, throw out the line, and I'm like, just trying to catch beats. like, hey y'all, you got anything? I need some joints. I ain't got much time, so I just start reaching out to friends, fellow geniuses that could help aid the album. And then when they would send music, my first thing is like, man, can I hear the story in it? Even if it could be super, super, super dope, but it's like, man, can I hear it? So it was a lot of that, and I'm really happy with how the album came out. But just overall, that's always been my process, is to get music. If I'm not writing it a cappella or just writing it solo, when it comes to music, I get the music like, man, what do I hear in this? And can I hear my voice, my instrument, with this music? So, yeah, it's a fun process.
Love that.
You dropped this project on September 29th.
Yeah.
Was there a specific reason why you chose that date?
Yeah. So with the Grammys, the eligibility window was your album had to come out between October 1st of 2021 and September 30th of 2022. So I put it out on the 29th just to make sure there were no glitches in the matrix.
I know that's right.
I was like, I don't want to put it out on the 30th and something happened. Like, oh man, bro, yeah, we had to put it out on the 1st. And then, I was like, that's too close. So yeah, that was the only reason. I know it was untypical to put it out on the Thursday, but
it worked out.
It worked out.
That date is actually a special date for me as well because that's my father's birthday.
Wow.
My brother.
Wow.
You dropped your memory.
Wow.
You dropped your iconic project on the same day of my daddy's birthday.
That's amazing. You know what else? That's amazing. So with with the work I was doing with the Academy, the nomination. So my father, he made his transition back in '99, November 15th of '99. So I was doing this work with the Academy. It took 6 years to get this category in place, and then when it finally passed, which was like May, June, finally passed, announced, and then you got the submission process and all that, and then they like, okay, the nominations are being announced on this day. So the day that the nominations were being announced, the first time 5 poets were being nominated was on November 15th. And I was like, okay, Dad, all right.
Wow.
I hear you. I hear you. So we made history on this, a day that once upon a time it was a devastating day, and now it's a day I celebrate because I know he's still here and still with me and still working and protecting and opening up doors. And so this was a win for the family, for the ancestors, for the for those who are still with us, and definitely for the poets.
Yeah, most
It's
definitely.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And I mean, we might as well just cap some things off. Tomorrow's a very special day.
Come on,
as
man.
Well.
Yeah.
It's a very,
303.
very, very special day. 2 things is happening here.
Yeah.
Your birthday's tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just say Mayor Lori Lightfoot because
Yeah.
she's still in all.
She's
she's
still
still
the
mayor
mayor.
right
She
now.
is still the mayor.
She the mayor.
You
She
know,
the mayor.
she did some things, man. She did some
Yeah.
things. She put together a proclamation for you.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just read. She said, whereas J. Ivy made history at the 65th Annual Grammy Awards, winning a Grammy for Best Spoken Word Project Album. She also mentioned that tomorrow is gonna be J. Ivy Day in Chicago in celebration of your birthday and recognition of your indelible contribution to
Period.
poetry and the spoken word.
Bow, 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 bow.
You know what? I gotta get
Man.
this man got his
Come
own
on, man.
day.
We got
Chicago.
a day, Chicago. We got a day.
He got his
We
own
got a day, man. Yeah.
You got your own. So for you, how special is that for you, Jay?
Man, it's beyond words. Like really, I thank you to Mayor Lightfoot. Thank you to the city of Chicago, the Deputy Mayor Samir, my brother John Samuels, my wife Tari Teray, who said, "Man, we go reach out to the mayor's office." I said, "We gonna get you a day." I said, "You can do that," So I mean, Chicago means so very much to me, and to know that the city that I love, the city that raised me, the city that taught me everything, that put style in my work, in my art, and dedication and heart and all these beautiful elements that have moved me forward throughout the years. It's beyond special to know that March 3rd, my birthday, is now J. Ivy Day.
Yes.
Like that don't even sound real.
It's real. It's real. Believe it.
The dream. I keep asking myself, like, what dream is this? What dream is this? And this,
It's reality,
it's special,
my brother.
man.
This is not a dream.
Yeah.
And all the blessings to you. Congrats on and much more success. Please let people know how they can continue to stay in support of what you have coming up. Shout out your event that's coming March 28th. And let people know how they can stay in tune, Jay.
Yeah, man. So hit me up. I'm on IG, J_IVY, just the letter J_IVY. And then hit me up my website, j-ivy.com. Man, again, City Winery, March 28th, we kicking it off. So come through for that, you know. And if I see you in the streets for J. Ivy Day tomorrow, come through.
No, that's
come
right.
through. We kicking it.
Look.
We turning up.
Yeah.